Test my test my。好，今天呢就很随性的要上来跟大家讲话了。那这个星期呢都有好多学生就有 enroll 去我这个八字 learning course。可是呢，就是我想趁这个机会呢，今天这个 live 上来 live 呢，跟大家说一下一些关于我们怎么样该存着怎么样的心态 ，what kind of attitude we must have towards the learning of 八字。我们呢，当做八字是一门功夫啦。那如果我们说八字是一门功夫的话呢，功夫是什么呢？功夫呢，其实就是时间。我们花时间去学或者去培养，一门功夫呢，都是需要时间。你放下去越多的时间呢，那你学呢，当然也会越有那个，越好了，会越进步。It means that if you want to study 八字 well, 八字 basically is very much like 功夫, okay? It's very much like martial arts. What is 功夫? In Chinese, 功夫 actually means time. The more time you invest into this study, the better you become in this art, okay? And there is another attitude that one must carry with oneself when we study 八字. In Chinese, there's this saying called 入书则不答. Okay, let me write it for you to in case you can't really understand what I'm saying. Okay. Okay, let me just share the screen. Okay, in Chinese, there's a saying called. All right, let me write it down for you. Okay, where's my pen? Okay, never mind. It writes like you. Okay, 数则不答. Okay, 入数则不答. It means that the more hurried you want to learn this art, which is called 八字, the faster you want to learn it well, the more difficult it will be able to learn well. It means that you must take one step at a time and don't rush yourself. Okay, always remember to take your time to understand each concept clearly before moving on to the next concept. Okay, this is the advice that I have for all my students. Thus, that's the reason why I have chosen to set this course to be on a one-on-one basis. Okay, let me write it again. 入数则不答. Okay, it means that you must learn to take your time to understand or take your time to comprehend each concept clearly before moving on to the next concept. Studying 八字 is like building a tall building. You must first lay your foundation well. Okay, lay your foundation well first before you move on and on to the next level. That's something that I want to share with you, having studied 八字 myself for the last 30 years of life. Okay, I have learned that the more I want to hurry to understand, actually the slower I will go. You should actually relax yourself, pace yourself well to grasp one concept before moving on to the next concept. Okay, just hold on. I will take my pen. Okay, I think my pen is over here. Okay. So it means that if you desire to go fast, you won't reach your destination. Okay. If you desire to go fast, you can't reach the destination。因为学习八字它并不是一个终点来的The learning of 八字 is not like traveling to a destination. Even after 30 years of studying, I'm still learning. I'm still studying every day. And I also take my time to learn, to grasp each concept well before I move on to the next concept. Therefore, there's an attitude I want to cultivate or inculcate in my students. Many of you have studied, or I mean, many of you have enrolled yourself into this course recently. And I have also selected the most easy to understand yet crucial materials for you in terms of the study notes that I have provided you and also the slides. Thus, take your time to read them and to understand them at your own pace. Okay, my course is a one-to-one lifetime coaching course. Okay, and there's no time limit as to like some course you have to attend every week. Then by the fifth course, you are expected to know everything about Bazi. I think that is nonsense. Okay, nobody can learn Bazi within 1 month or within just 2 weeks. Unless you have the 上天上帝 come into your body, like as some master claim 啦，like 他们术上天上帝上他们的身，然后他就说自己2个星期就会学完了八字。我学了30年还在学，还觉得自己学的不够啊，所以呢，不要觉得八字是一门很快就可以学得好的一门学问。然后呢，为什么叫做学问呢？就是要学会问啊。你要每次看到一件东西不明白，就要学会问，那就叫做学问。In Chinese, knowledge actually means learning to ask questions. That's the only way we can increase our knowledge. Because in Chinese, knowledge is called 学问 okay? 学问 okay? Learn to ask. Okay, 学问. Therefore, if you have any questions, I'm here all the time for you to ask me. Okay, this is the special point about my course. I am available as long as I'm not sleeping. Okay, or as long as I'm not traveling, or as long as I'm not on the road. I'm always here to answer your questions. I'm just a WhatsApp or a Zoom call or a Facebook Live away. Therefore, to my dear students, please remember to ask me questions. Okay, it will be abnormal for you to read the study materials yet you don't have any questions. Some of my students only communicate with me via email, and I will also able to reply you via email. Therefore, don't hesitate to ask me anything. Okay, for instance, some of the Bazi learning, right? Like some of the basics. For example, just for illustration purposes, we have Tiangan, right? The 10 heavenly stamp or 10 heavenly stamp. All right, these are we have 10 heavenly stamps. Okay, 十天干. And if you can remember, they are the 甲乙丙丁木子 sorry 甲乙丙丁木子跟辛壬癸. And within the 10 heavenly stamps, they are actually combination formation. For example, 甲 will combine with 子, yi will combine with yi will combine with 艮, okay? 丙 will combine with 辛, and 丁 will combine with 壬, and 戊 will combine with 癸, right? When you study this basic concept, at the back of your mind, I expect you to ask questions as to why. For example, these 10 heavenly stamps, how is it? Why is it that it will become it will have such a combination formation? So let me explain to you one by one. Okay, first we have 甲 paired with this Zi to form a two combination. Okay, 甲子和画土. Therefore, you must ask why. Why 甲子和 will combine to form two? Why 甲子和会变成土? 甲子 combines to form two. Okay, this is one of the heavenly combination for heavenly stems combination formation rule, and I expect you to question yourself why. Okay, in this case, hi, yeah, Lim, hi, Mr. Lim, nice to have you here. Yeah, the fundamental, yes, correct, Mr. Lim, the fundamental is very important. For example, to determine the strength and weekday master. Yes, you are correct. The whole analysis will be totally wrong. Yes, sharing is also another way to learn. Yes, correct, Mr. Lim. Nice to have you here today. Yeah, so my purpose of sharing this live session today is just to provide some teaching as to what kind of attitude the student must inculcate in themselves in order to study this BaZi well. For instance, one of the most important points is to ask questions, because 学问 is about learning how to ask questions and asking the right questions. And I'm just trying to encourage them to ask me, for instance, learning these basic laws of the Tiangan, which are the 10 heavenly stems. And within these 10 heavenly stems, there are combination formations such as 甲子和. So we must ask ourselves why. Remember, in my last Facebook Live, I have explained that all BaZi relationships are lateral signs. Okay, so when we look at Jia, Jia is a tree, right? Okay, let me draw it for you. Jia is actually a tree. Okay, this is a tree. Okay, a tree. Okay, a tree with a lot of leaves. All right, Jia has a lot of leaves. Okay, this is a tree, and it grows on the earth. Okay, after a long period of time, what will happen to tree? Because all things will die, right? So after a long period of time, the tree will disappear. Okay, the tree will disappear. Okay, will no longer exist, and then the tree trunk will go into the tree trunk will go within the earth, right? Okay, okay, let me just erase everything properly. So after a long period of time, the tree will die, and then the tree trunk will also be buried, will fall and be buried within the earth, right? That's the reason why 甲子河变成一个土了 is a form of a natural process actually, right? Thus, 甲 which is tree and earth is earth lah. Okay, is a tree and this is earth. After a long period of time, they will always become one entity. Therefore, 甲子河 okay will become two. All right. This is all natural science. Just like what Jasmine mentioned yesterday, when wood, after a long period of time, they will be buried under the earth and become petrified wood, okay, which become a form of like something like crystal, okay. Therefore, we can understand all BaZi is natural science, and even within all these Tiangan heavenly stems, right, their relationship actually carries with them some kind of 都是背后有一种道理的. There's a natural science or a logical reason as to why there's such a combination. Thus, I will encourage the students to ask themselves why. For instance, the next what we have, Yi, okay? We have Yi. Yi will pair with Gen to form metal, okay? Okay, this is wood. This is metal. And this is the combination results. The resultant elements is also metal. And why is that so? It is actually very commonsensical. For example, Yi is actually a kind of flower. Okay, we can take it as one of the representation of Yi is flower. Okay. Okay. One of the representation of Yi is actually flower. And with gun, what does gun represents? Gun represents metal tool, metallic tool. For example, scissors. Okay, a pair of scissors. Okay, a pair of scissors. Okay, pardon my drawing. Okay, I'm not an artist, but you can understand when a pair of scissors cut the flower, right? When a pair of scissors or any metallic tool, trim the flower or simply, cut the flower, what will happen to the flower? The flower will die. Okay, so what is left is just the metal. Okay, what is left is just the metal after this pair of scissors cut this flower off. Okay, thus this is also commonsensical. 以根合化金. Okay, all right. And then what else do we have? Okay, we have Bing and Xing combine to form water. Why is that so? Because metal, okay, imagine a piece of metal, a piece of gold, okay, and being melted by fire. Okay, this is fire. Okay, basically, I just want my students to learn how to try to understand and ask questions. Okay, for example, this is fire. Okay, so what will happen to the metal? It will melt and become liquid, right? It will become a kind of liquid. Will turn into liquid, which water is able to serve as a metaphor when gold is melted into liquid form. Okay, therefore, 丙生合化金. That's the reason 丙生合化金. Bing combines with Xing will turn into liquid or water. All right, and then what else do we have? What else do we have? Oh, okay. Actually, I should share my life to my students. I forget that I should actually share it to my students. So just give me a moment as I share it to my students. Right, just give me a moment as I share my video to my student, because this is supposed to be a form of tuition for them. Even though they have all the study materials and can actually learn everything uh, un, under my close guidance, but some of the attitude, like what kind of attitude we must have towards learning is also important. 因为呢，我们学习最重要是要用心，并不只是用脑哦，我们要放我们的心下去学。然后呢，最重要呢，学习的时候呢，要心无牵挂 ，OK， 无牵无挂，然后才能够进入那个正道。It means that you must first empty your mind and free yourself from all anxiety. Okay, don't pressure yourself to learn. Try to empty your mind and don't give yourself any form of anxiety or pressure to learn. Okay, because my course is structured in a way that it is a form of lifetime coaching. You can always take your time to learn and then come back to me whenever you need a guidance, okay, or need some tuition or teaching to explain certain concepts to you. All right. Therefore, always free your mind from all anxiety and stress when you learn. That's the best way to absorb the BaZi philosophy. Because BaZi is not just knowledge. It's not just something like knowledge. Yeah, correct. Mr. Lim, you're able to understand all these points like 丙生合化水, fire clash metal, metal become water, and 丁壬合化木. Yeah, it's all correct. Yeah, it's like empty your cup, like what Mr. Lim said. Empty the cup so that new water can fill the cup. That is a very good analogy. Thank you very much, Mr. Lim. Yeah, that's an attitude that I also wish all my students to have. Learn to empty your mind. Also empty your mind from all the previous misconceptions that you might have about BaZi. Because honestly speaking, in today's society, whereby BaZi is often being misused by a lot of merchants to sell their products, or some of the merchants may not even have proper knowledge of BaZi, but they will use it as a form of marketing tool. For example, using easily understood concepts like the animal zodiacs as a form of marketing tools to sell you those yearly prediction books or to sell you any form of products. Therefore, in the modern society, BaZi is being covered with a layer of superstitiousness. Okay, some may consider this as a form of superstitious belief, but as I have gone through various live sessions with you and also provided live predictions to all my viewers and have also proven to a great extent that most of the predictions were on point and I mean on the spot. And even I have never seen you before. All of you, I have never been able to see you face to face, and I am unable to perform any form of co-reading. What I meant by co-reading is that, for instance, if you visit some of those practitioners, they will give you a face-to-face consultation and they will observe your body language in order to determine the conditions or circumstances surrounding your life. They will observe your body language and your attire, your dressing, how you groom yourself, for instance. All these are called co-reading, which a lot of masters when they conduct face-to-face consultation will use. But as you see, I have never seen any one of my clients because I base all my astrological reading online and all my teachings online. Therefore, I have never been able to use any form of co-reading, but yet I have been able to sustain uh, this service that I provide for 10 years already, which I believe many clients have also been able to observe that there's something different about the way I generate my astrological forecast. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Lin, for the comments. Yeah, it's true that nowadays it's being too commercialized, mostly looking for money. Yeah, it's true. Especially, I would say in Singapore, like a lot of shops, they will just provide you with a free box reading and then try to sell you something, which is not something that I will encourage because after 30 years of learning BaZi, I know that it is a school of philosophy that is filled with wisdom and practical value in terms of helping someone to live a better life. It's not a marketing tool, which is what most masters conceive it to be nowadays. It is a form of uh, it is like providing a roadmap for my clients to help them to live a better life and to how to better plan their future. Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Lim, for the input, which I totally agree. This all this philosophy is being too commercialized nowadays. Yes, Jason One, hi, good evening. Nice to have you with me here again today. Yeah, so uh, for those who have just joined me, do rewind my video and catch up on what I have mentioned before. Yep. So basically, I will just encourage my students to the attitude towards learning is to 学问，因为学问就是 to learn to ask questions. Okay, it's like just now I have mentioned some of the 10 heavenly stems and the relationships they have between each other. For instance, I have mentioned 甲子合、画图、乙庚合化金，丙申火化水，然后下来是什么？甲乙丙丁戊，OK，丁 first，OK，丁壬合化丁壬合化木，OK。How I remember this, OK? How I ask myself, how I can remember this is to imagine this as a thing is actually candle, OK? Okay, ding can represent candle. It is one of the things that ding can represent, but ding can also represent a lot of things like the moon, like starlight, for instance. Okay, but for today's illustration purpose, just to encourage you to go about asking questions and to find out to learn new methods in terms of how to memorize all these concepts is
to remember that ding is a form of candle, okay? And within candle, there's this, I don't know what you call that. There's this line with this kind of like a cloth within candle, okay? I don't know what you call that in English, okay? 就是呢，那个蜡烛里面不是有一条绳子吗？ Hello, Timmy. Nice to have you here with me today. Perhaps all of you can help me with this. You know, within a candle, there's this line or this cloth, this thread within the candle which helps the fire to burn. What do you call that? Can you remember that word? I kind of skipped my mind. Anyway, never mind. I will continue. Yeah, it's the string. Yes, correct, the string. Yeah, so within candle, there's this string here, right? Yeah. Okay. Within this candle, there's this string here which helps the candle to burn, and we can take yin as a form of liquid. Okay, which you know inside a temple. Okay, inside a temple, like 我们在庙里面嘛，常常都有一些油去生那个蜡烛，对不对？我们在拜拜的时候啊，常常看到那个佛庙里面哦，就有很多人拿那种油啊去添油，然后烧那个蜡烛。所以我们可以这样 imagine 哈、我们这样可以 imagine。OK，let me draw for you。好像这个是我们的那个油啦。OK，this is the liquid oil。OK。Liquid oil. Then this is the candle. Okay, this is the candle. Okay, candle. Okay, this is the fire. Okay, I'm just trying to make it easier for you to learn and to remember. Okay, so you see this is the string. Okay, the string we can call it the wood. Okay, the string is of the wood element. All right, then this liquid oil is of the ren. Okay, ren is a kind of liquid. Okay, ren is a metaphor for any liquid. Okay, and then this is the fire. Okay, this is the fire. Therefore, when we have this 定任何嘛，定 OK 定任何，为什么画木了？Equals to wood. Okay, why is it equals to wood? Okay, OK，为什么定任何会画木了？为什么会变成这个木了？因为你看那个蜡烛烧完那个蜡烛了，对不对？烧完了蜡烛剩下什么？如果这个蜡烛它烧完了，对不对？这个蜡烛烧完了 ，OK， 烧完了 ，OK。然后呢，最后那个 oil 也是烧完了 ，OK， 只会剩下那个木了，就是那条 string 了哈。所以你就可以这样记住，就是定任何画木了，就是这样子啊。就是学生们也是对那个灯芯哈，就是那个 candle wick 啊，对，谢谢你的提点啊，就是这个灯芯啦 candle wick 哈，所以我们可以记住，这样就可以记住定任何画木了 ，OK，所以定任何画木。OK， 定任何画木，还有什么东西啊？我们还有天干，还有那个丁壬合化木木甲乙丙丁木庚庚木甲乙木己甲乙丙丁木 ，OK， 就是木，就是这个木了，木跟癸和化火。为什么木跟癸和化火了？这个木呢，其实就是我们的大地了哈，大地。然后这个癸呢是雨水来的，雨水，哦，所以呢有一个现象就是呢，你看下雨了，对不对？下雨了，雨水，它进入了那个 earth 里面了，对不对？如果呢那个水进到很深很深嘛，进到很深 ，very deep into the earth， 我们的那个就是地最深的那个 temperature 是不是很高 ？High temperature。 当我们的大地跟那个雨水渗入进入那个大地里面 ，when the rainwater zip deep into our earth, okay, deep into our earth. For example, it will go so near to the lava, okay, the lava. 你们知道是 lava 啊，那个熔崖啊。那时候呢，什么东西都变得很热嘛，对不对？就变得很热了，什么东西都变得很热。It will be of a very high temperature. Therefore, Kui and Mu, when they combine, in the long run, they will become very hot, extremely high temperature. Okay, extreme high temperature. 所以木癸合就化那个火了。哦，能够明白吗？还有什么呢？甲乙木给甲乙丙丁木给好像都讲完了，对不对？好了，如果没有讲完呢，就 refer 去那个 study notes 咯。所以呢，每个八字的那个combination 呢，都有一个道理在里面哈。所以都不是说我们随便的想象出来的，都是有一个 natural scientific logic 在它的 behind every combination formation within the 10 heavenly stems. There's a form of logical explanation, scientific or natural science. Or logical science that can show the logics behind how they are related to each other. Okay. Yeah, so basically, I will keep today's live session short. Basically, just to share to my students what it is required of you in terms of the mindset and attitude of how to go about learning this BaZi well. As I have mentioned earlier on, BaZi is also like a form of 功夫, and 功夫 is time. Okay, 功夫就是时间。好，让我写下来。功夫等于时间。Thus, the more time you invest into the learning of BaZi, the more you will be the higher or understanding you'll be able to achieve. All right, and then always remember this point called 入数则不达. Okay, don't rush into learning. Always empty your mind and take your time to learn this BaZi philosophy. Okay, because if you always are so anxious as to learn, you miss out the basic concepts. It is very important to learn the most basic concepts well and grasp each concept to comprehend each concept holistically before moving on to the next. Because I have also always mentioned before, 蝶是沧桑方知晓，回过头来学当初啊。这句话就是说呢，我们蝶是沧桑，代表呢我们在我们的人生路上呢跌倒了很多次了，然后变得很沧桑，就是很疲累了，然后很气馁了，然后方知晓了，就是才能够明白了。回过头来就是 turn back and look back 呢，学当初 to learn the basics. Okay, after the vicissitudes of life, then I realized the importance of learning the basics. So it is a must for all beginners to grasp the basic ideas very well. Okay. Yeah, hello, 师傅. Yeah, I mean, hello. Hi, Les May. Nice to see you here today. Actually, I didn't mean to come by, but because some of the students are subscribing to my BaZi course, so I believe it will be important for me to inculcate in them the right attitude towards learning, or to impart in them onto them the right attitude and mindset towards BaZi learning. All right. So actually today I don't really have much to share. Basically, just to prepare my students for their learning. Yeah, yeah. So thank you very much for coming by nonetheless. I will share all more on BaZi or even on feng shui in my future live sessions. So hopefully I will see in the next live video, and then I will just keep today's video short. Okay. I will share some of the basic knowledge related to the 10 heavenly stamps also in the next tuition. Okay, so wishing you all a good evening and have a good rest tonight. Thank you very much for coming by.